What you care about the most, you hold the closest. If we're not holding our mission close, it's time to put something else down and pick up the why. Let's talk about it. Hey, welcome to the Purpose Project podcast. My name is Brandon Goff, and I get to be the host of this podcast and the pastor of Radiate Church in South Carolina. I'm really honored that you've taken time out of your commute or day to be a part of this community of people that just continues to grow and chase the vision and the purpose God's put on the inside of you. Let me tell you a little bit about why we started this podcast. We started this podcast because we truly believe every person has a purpose from God. And we wanted to be a coaching tool, a challenging, inspiring tool that we can give some practical insights and biblical insights even toward what does it look like to chase the purpose God put on the inside of us. We believe that the more people we can help chase the purpose of God in their life, the more we can make a difference in the world. So I'd love for you to help me today. I'd love for you to review and like this podcast. I'd love for you to share it on social media and even share it with friends, family, coworkers, whoever you think would benefit from it so that we can continue to expand our reach and help more and more people walk out the purpose God has for them. Now, we're right in the middle of a series of talks about the power of culture. Power of culture to accomplish vision, the power of culture to accomplish what God's put on the inside of us. And really, there's a lot of power in this. Culture, to backtrack a little bit, culture is the unspoken but very much experienced part of your job, your business, the team you lead, the church you pastor, the family you raise. It's unspoken, but it's experienced. And while we're building culture to support vision, I want you to understand that you can never lose the why. You can never lose the mission for what you're doing and why you're doing it. Culture is the gas pedal for the vision. Okay, so it determines how fast we go, but some of us, when we build a poor culture for the big vision God's given us or the big vision we have for our business, if we build a poor culture, it's like pulling the emergency brake while going down the road. But if I build a strong culture, it's like releasing the emergency brake and pressing the gas pedal, and it just speeds up and things begin moving. Now, I want to talk about mission today, the why. I don't want you to lose your why. I don't want you to lose your mission. I want you to, today is going to be very much about, let's go back and remember. Let's go back and remember, why did I choose to do this? The mission is why you got started. Did you start your law office to help people find justice? Did you start your family because you wanted to raise a generation of kids that make a difference? You start your church because you wanted to impact communities and help people experience the love of Jesus? Did you start your job, whatever job you have, because you wanted to provide the best for your family? Absolutely possible. I don't know, but the mission is the why. Just why did you start this? Why did you go down this road? What was the thing that made you go, I got to take this first step to starting this business, starting this family, starting this job, whatever it was? The mission is deeply personal. The mission is different for everybody, right? Now, in the organization that I lead in the local church, the mission is Matthew 28, 19 through 20. To tell people about the love of Jesus and teach them how to live a life full of the life that Jesus is all about. That's the mission. The mission just doesn't change. That's why I started this. It's deeply personal to me. It's deeply personal to me on this podcast that I help people go, I do have purpose, I do matter, and here's what I can do to unlock the purpose God's put on the inside of me. It's deeply personal to me. And as deeply personal as the mission is, it's also deeply meaningful. It's equally as deeply meaningful. You have to hold the mission close. We hold the things we care the most about the closest to us. And for some of us, I know I have in my leadership journey of the past 25 years, what's happened is when I lose my why, when I forget why I started, when I forget the mission, then I'm actually on. Can I tell you what I do? I hold things that don't matter real close. I hold the approval of others real close. I hold the opinion of others real close. When I forget why I started the church, why I started leading pastors, why I started the podcast, then I'll start to hold numbers and metrics close. And it's the closest thing held to me. Why? Because I forgot the mission. I forgot the why. Now, it doesn't mean the other things don't matter. It doesn't mean that I don't care about those things. What it does mean, though, is the mission has to matter more. And sometimes in the chase for vision and in the chase for purpose, I see it all the time, we forget the mission and we hold on to the metric. And we hold it close, and it's all about, I don't want to reach that person because their soul needs to be cared for. I want to reach that person because they're worth millions of dollars. It becomes, I don't want to serve that person in my law office because they need justice. I want to serve that person because I need the next paycheck. And I've forgotten the mission. I'm holding the wrong things close. Maybe I can speak directly to pastors probably easier than anything else. And maybe you're a pastor or leader in the ministry world out there, and you realize that you've began to hold the metrics and the money, and you began to hold the wrong things, the approval, the applause, and you're holding that really close. And I just pray that wherever you are in your business, pastoring, whether you're a leader of a organization or a church, I hold the right things close. Hold the mission close, because the mission grounds us. See, vision changes according to seasons, but mission never does. The why is always there. The further we get from the beginning of why we started this to begin with, the more we lose sight of the mission. The further we get away from the beginning, the easier it is to lose sight of the mission. I like to think of it like this when I talk about this topic with leaders. It's almost like an airplane. When you get to the airport, you go through TSA, you check everything in, you get your boarding pass, you do all that stuff, right? And maybe you're like me. I don't know why I do this, because I rarely eat them, but I'll go in the local store in the airport and I'll get a thing of Mentos, fruit flavored Mentos. I don't know why. I eat them in the airplane sometimes, and oftentimes I don't. I don't know. I just do it. It's a thing I do, right? Maybe if I got time, I'll sit down and eat lunch. Our local airport has a Dunkin' Donuts, praise God. So I'll go get some munchkins or a breakfast sandwich and sit down. And while you're in there, you see all those details, don't you? You see the donuts, and you see the food, and you see the things they're trying to get you to buy in the stores, and you see the seats and the people. Then you move out into the plane, and the plane begins to go down the runway, and it's taxiing to where it needs to go to take off. And during that, you're seeing the signs on the runway, and you're seeing the other planes and the other people boarding planes, and you're seeing all these things. And then the plane picks up speed, and the plane begins to get up in the air, and the further it gets in the air, the less you see those details. The smaller the people become, the smaller the runway you just took off from is, the smaller the massive trees are, the smaller the roadways are, the smaller the grid is, the smaller the mountains are. Why? Because my perspective has changed. The distance between me and where I began is greater, and so it affects the way I see it. And for many of us, we've been doing things so long that we're so far, the distance between when and why we started is so drastically different from where we are now. We've lost sight of the details of the love for people, And we've lost sight of the details of the love for helping people and encouraging people and being life-giving and maybe helping people in a holistic way as a doctor, or maybe helping people find justice as a lawyer. Maybe it's helping people find Jesus as a pastor. Maybe it's whatever it is. The distance has gotten so far away, we've lost the details of the why. And so now naturally we cling to what's around us, what we can put our hands around. And if we're not careful, we will begin to serve the things we can do nothing about while releasing the mission that God called us to begin with. And when we lose sight of the mission, I'll tell you what happens in a leader's world. It happens to me more times than I'd like to admit. We begin to stress out about things that keep us busy, but don't drive us toward purpose. We begin to stress out about the things that, honestly, we can't do a thing about. The bottom line that we can't affect. It begins to stress us. Why? I'm holding it close. I forgot the why. I forgot the mission. And I just want to challenge you today. Take the mission. Go back to why you started. Find that mission and hold it close. When's the last time you recalibrated yourself to the mission and the actual purpose of your life? When's the last time you sat down, maybe with no background noise, or maybe just a little bit of Stephen Wilson Jr. playing in the background? When's the last time you sat down and thought, why do I do this? Why did I start this? And maybe that season of your life is done. Cool. But why did I start it? Why did I start this church? My wife and I planted Radiate Church 14 years ago. Sometimes we have to sit on our back patio as we're talking and hanging out and go, why did we start the church? And talk back through the origin story of it and remind ourselves why. Why did you start doing what you're doing? Why did you start living the life that you're living? What did it look like? What's your passion? What drives you? An old country friend of mine has a very weird saying. I've said it on here before, but he said, what makes your heart pump peanut butter? And I'm like, that's weird. But what he's trying to say is what just makes you push through no matter what? What wakes you up in the morning? What gives you that drive and that passion? If you find yourself becoming numb to what you're doing, I would actually ask, then why are you doing it? And I don't mean it like disparaging in the sense of, then quit doing it. Maybe you need to. But I mean it like, why are you doing it? What is the mission of the vision? Like, if I get to the vision that I've set in my life, the sketch, the blueprint, and we've accomplished it, great. But there's really no impact to it. There's really no mission to it. All I've done is just build something. I can build things easy, but I want to build something that makes impact. So here's an easy way to reconnect with your vision, or your mission, with your why. Take some time to remind yourself of your why. Take some time to remind yourself why you got started. It's such an easy thing to say. I know, it's a hard thing to do. I mean, we got the stress of work, we got the stress of family, we got the stress of life, we got craziness happening all over the world today. And I would say that's even more reason to sit down and go, why did I do this? Sit down and ask yourself the hard question, why did I start doing this? What was your mission and purpose in the beginning of it all? It could be something as simple as, I simply started this job because I wanted to provide the best absolutely possible thing for my family. Awesome. You know, when that job gets hard and that job gets tough, you know what's going to push you through? Your mission, your why, your family, the provision. You know what's going to help you chase that promotion? Vision, mission, not greed, not selfishness. My family. It's the mission. It's why I'm there. But I would tell you to do this. Once you get to the place to where this is my why, this is my vision, this is what I'm trying to do, this is why I started this thing. Put it somewhere in your office, on your phone, in your house. Put it somewhere to remind you, this is why I got started. And remind you on a consistent basis. one of my pastors, one of my best friends in the world, Pastor Jeff Capusta, had a group of guys one time that had us do this thing to where he was talking about altars and building altars, and he gave us all stones. And he said, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go back, and I want you to write down a moment in your life that was life-changing, that directed the rest of your life and created the mission. Well, for me, I wrote the word purpose, and then I wrote 23 years old. And here's why, because at 23 years old, I showed up with a heart problem that redirected the rest of my life, has caused about 12 to 15 different surgeries at this point, now that I'm 42 years old in my life. It's caused physical health things, it's caused all kinds, but it showed me something. God, I was supposed to die on an operating table 3 times, and you, through your grace and goodness, pulled me out. I have purpose. And God, I'm not the only one with purpose. And it hit me. How many other people are sitting out there with a purpose of God in their life that nobody cares enough about to call out? And that became the why for me. I want to point them to Jesus, and I want to call out the purpose God put on the inside of them. And so that rock with purpose and 23 years old written on it is sitting right next to my bed, and it's been sitting there for a while. And every time I look at it, I'm reminded, this is why. This is why you do that. Now, the hard part of getting your why and getting your mission is this. Vision changes according to the season. So let me break that down. Old goals will eventually become new standards. Old desires eventually become new necessities. Old drive becomes your floor, not your ceiling. I remember as a church, I would pray to God and ask for 30 people. God, will you just give me 30 people? I remember praying that prayer. Now I'm praying, God, we're so close to 2,000. Will you help me? Why? Because old desires became new necessities. Old goals became new standards, right? It became the regularity. So vision changes according to seasons. Mission doesn't. The why you're doing it, the mission behind what you're doing, it stays consistent and it stays connected. It causes you to anchor to the what. It causes you to anchor to the how. And if you lose your mission, your accomplishments will become your God. Man, I don't want that for you. I don't want you to live a life burnt out on accomplishments and tasks. I want you to live a life on purpose, accomplishing everything God's put on the inside of you. So this week, I'd love for you to take some time to just rethink and reconnect with your vision, your mission, Why did I start doing this? Why am I doing this? What on earth am I actually here for? For me, it's to help people walk out the fullness of God in their life, to introduce them to the love of Jesus for eternal life change. But what is it for you? What is the mission? Why are you doing it? And what's going to anchor you to the what and the how? Remember your why and hold it close. Hold it close for the rest of your life. Now, as you're doing that work, I want to remind you of something I remind you of each and every single week because it matters to me. It's this: you matter to me, you matter to God, and you matter to a whole lot of other people. You have an incredible purpose God put on the inside of you, and please don't ever forget that. And you can change the world. So now, let's get after it.